Any persona or like ego character is a false identity, and you will spend a whole life potentially trapped in a false identity that you don't know that you're rolling with. Whether you're a roadman or potentially a hippie or emo or literally, like, or whether you're like chav like, right? Or whether you're however your character is. You've got different characters in this world, yeah? And you're probably one of them. You've got the emo class, you got like the snobby rich class, you got the Andrew Tate masculine class, you got the chav class, the roadman class, nerd class, right? Ask yourself, what class have you been in at some point in your incarnation? And are you still in that class? I find people exist almost solely, somewhat, this base underlying chavness or something of that nature. And each to their own, but like you, and notice that you don't have to do that. And also, I think a lot of it, I was just listening to some music. I've spent a lot of time listening to very like abstract, like multicultural music. But I think a lot of people who, like, for example, listen to a lot of like UK grime rap scene. It's like you're that's like neurolinguistic programming where that's why you become the UK chav rap, like, kind of, I don't know about drill, but you notice that like drill people listen to drill, chavs listen to like chav, like hippies listen to hippie, obviously. So is the neurolinguistic programming not creating their character to an extent, potentially? It's worth considering. I'm not demonizing anybody, but I just noticed that some people seem to ride like with this kind of consciousness of like they move through the world like as a roadman or as a chav or um, I mean, it depends who I've spent time with potentially, but I'm not even saying it's a bad thing because your ego is, but I'm not gaslighting the ego either. Maybe you're by all means valid to do so, but just notice that you could potentially switch class. Because I used to be like some fucking nerd programmer, right? And when I was younger, and then yeah, I wanted to kind of be like cool kid-ish. So I ended up kind of like in school, like somewhat a survival strategy. I tried to be like build rapport with the kind of cool kids, but it was a trap in the end. I made a video like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, saying what culture deems cool is 180 degrees backwards. Do not befriend the cool kids. Because I basically left like because I pursued who I thought was like cool aesthetically, like or who like I deemed as like cool, uh, like these kind of bad man kids who get into smoking weed and being like rebellious. Like I was inspired by like rebellious people when I was younger a bit as well. Like but basically um yeah, it was kind of a trap because like I ended up leaving like my actual nice friends almost because I tried to hang out with like these cool kids who were like smoking weed and stuff and like doing this fun stuff. Like my boring nerd friends want to sit inside and be like educated, mate, and be sober and clean and like and then the cool kids are like, oh, that's so gay and boring. So I went with the cool kids, I guess. Not that I was really conscious at this point. I don't know. Anyway, the cool kids are a fucking bunch of dickheads, basically. And I kind of realised that in some ways, like the more kind of academic people who I was originally hanging out with were actually cooler, like the nerd class who wouldn't smoke weed. I went out and hung out with the weed kids who thought they were cool, and I realised that actually that was kind of a mistake. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Just ask yourself what class you may be in, and whether or not you're conscious of the fact that you are, and whether or not you want to keep that class, because you can change. I have done that, not on purpose, somewhat, many times. And then I went into the psychedelic psychosis personality, mate. The holistic one. Okay, whatever. But yeah, don't trap yourself in like a psychological identity that ain't real, because you ain't got to hold that up. You can do whatever you want. And notice how I said I became like cool kids as a survival strategy. Now, some very close friend in my life says, this affirmation of like, I release and forgive all versions of myself I created in order to survive. And recently, like, it was touched on in a video by actualize.org called What is Fake Spirituality? And it's not even relevant to who I'm talking about either. But he just says in this, he says that, yeah, there's, for example, if you have a group, for example, I'm in like a group of like the conscious rapper community. Hypothetically, if this group is like ideological, so to speak, it's like if basically my ideas end up contrasting their ideas too heavily, I could be like ostracized, so to speak, or like thrown out of the tribe, I believe is how, I don't know if ostracized is the right word. Now the conscious rapper community is like, I just use that as an example, but you can do it for any kind of cult or culture. I'm not saying the CLC is that. I was just using it as like, that's like my group. And basically, in order to survive and get on in the group and potentially network, make friends, there's a certain level of like blending in you may have to mask or put on the front-ish in a way. Not with this community, I'm just talking this is how kind of cultish ideologies work. And I'm not saying that this is a cultish ideology, because we try to question everything and be conscious. That's the aim of the whole thing. It's different, because I think the conscious stuff is very different from everything that isn't aiming to be conscious. But you can still get corruption, of course. Anyway, that's a very long-winded way of saying, if you have a group of friends, and if your ideas are too radically opposing your group of friends who you are trying to appeal to, maybe even for selfish gain, because I noticed that, yeah, if you are pursuing anybody for a reason that isn't like surface sort of level, in terms of like, you can't pursue someone for a distorted reason in terms of like devilry of selfishness. Like, for example, the cliche is like, you know, if someone has something you want or something like that, you know, everyone talks about it in bare rap tunes. It's like, you know, once you got money and once you got weed and that, everyone's your mate, and everyone talks about this. Congo speaks about this in his tune "Puff Puff No Passing," and yeah, it's just like how yeah, like people can hang around other people, and it's common where like you can notice that like half of your mates and your friends, at least your old friends, like they're only really hanging around you to smoke your weed, right? So they're pursuing you for their own selfish survival, you see. So then they have to then potentially get on with you, which could be their karmic fucking repercussions for doing a fucking devilish thing potentially. Because if you are using a person or a tribe or a group to survive, you might have to blend in with that group, and then you can suppress your true self. So if you have a group of friends potentially that's important to your social survival, if maybe they're your only group of friends you've ever fucking known, even if in primary school or something, or school, whatever the fuck is going on. If you're trying to keep that group of friends for means of selfish gain, potentially if you're trying to smoke their weed or some shit like that, whether it's conscious or not, you then basically ought to blend in so you don't get thrown out of the tribe, because that's how a lot of these classes work in a way. You know, you can't just go and join the fucking emo tribe and potentially, or whatever fucking reason you might want to do that, or consciously or not, if you're trying to get something out of somebody for whatever reason or whatever the fuck, which you shouldn't pursue anybody for a distorted reason. You can't join an emo tribe if you're not a fucking emo. You have to become the emo. You get what I mean? So if you already have a group of friends that is important to your survival, and that is a lot of what the Borg fucking AI fucking hive mind is of the New World Order as well. So so that was a big fucking full circle rant, mate. That was a bit mad. But anyway, that's just a random thought. I'm just out here grounded, smoking a joint, mate. Bless up. Yeah, I feel like a brand new wave of things, but I can't do that talk is cheap shit. I do feel like my consciousness radically evolving very fast. And a lot of that is actually because of the conscious rapper community and these festivals. They're very, very activating. I just done 2 back to back. The CRC camp out, which I'm so happy was a success. First official CRC event, like hosted by the CRC solely. Shout out to everyone there. And just got back from Elevate Festival at Stonehenge. And the conscious rapper community was at the Wild Retreat. We got a women's empowerment one on around the corner as well. Anyway, that's it, my friends. I'll check out the YouTube. I got live streams of these events and that. I'm a bit stoned. I got to go. I was just taking a note. I didn't mean to rant for 10 fucking minutes, mate. Bless up. And you know, the thing on YouTube. Yeah, I got bare live streams of these events and that. And I'm exporting them to Instagram now. Instagram don't let me go live anymore because I need 1,000 followers. So maybe we should run that up. Also, I'm thinking about just leaving this account and making a new account because I ain't trying to get my account taken down along with everything on it because fuck the New World Order, and if I keep drawing attention to this account, it's gonna get terminated, bruv. And that's how fucking real it is, mate. I'm fucking telling you, bro. Wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up from your slumber. This is not a joke, nor is it a test.